That was week 3? Is it that quick usually?
It's finally time. You asked, and you are receiving. Today, for Watts in a Performance, the series where I review other people's playing and explain what goes on to create the videos that we all know and love, I'm taking a bit of a detour. I'm doing a bit of a meme, a bit of a joke, but it's not a joke because we are reviewing Simply Piano ads. Or more accurately, I am reacting and then reviewing and breaking them down to see if it's actually realistic for the sort of progress that they're making. Simply Piano is a giant meme in classical music communities. To be clear, this video is not sponsored. This video is not affiliated with Simply Piano whatsoever. I am reacting and reviewing to ads and what I've heard other people say about the product, but I'm not saying anything about their methodology whatsoever, except what comes through on the ad, because I simply don't know what they do. If I throw shade at all, I'm only throwing shade at the advertisements and not the methodology or the app itself. That's for another video. That's for another video where I actually, maybe one day we'll get Simply Piano, at least a trial, to take a look at it. So if you want to see that, be sure to hit that like button and be sure to subscribe and comment and let me know. Another quick little addendum, I am not a very experienced teacher at teaching beginners. Most of my students are self-taught, who come to me after learning by themselves after a few years, and I help them fix a lot of mistakes. However, I have been in a piano studio for 16 plus years of my life, and I've watched all levels of students start from the very beginning and make it all the way to pretty advanced. And I myself have had to progress through those stages as well as a pianist. So while at the end of the day, my exact timeline and expectation for where students should be might be a little bit off, I would say that I have a pretty fair grasp of the situation, and I can maybe somewhat accurately assess whether or not the progress shown in Simply Piano ads is realistic or not. Right now, this is going to be part 1 because it would be too long to react to all the ads, because you know me, I like to talk through my stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. So buckle your seatbelts and let's get it. All right, here we go. So set up here in front of the monitor, in front of the keyboard, although I don't think I'll need it. And got myself a little container of tea. You gotta sip some if you wanna spill some. So that's all I gotta say. Let's get on with it. Alright, day 1. He discovered the app Simply Piano on his mom's iPad. Oh my... What? Oh my... No. Hold on, I'm not even like looking at like the days or anything. I'm just still looking at his hands. And the smirk. Okay. I'm gonna need to take a closer look at this ad. So first off, I'm just like, how do I say? I'm like appalled at how he's playing. Like, I would observe his fingers and look how flat they are. Look how he's sitting at the piano, like up like this, right? His seat is clearly too low. He's not sitting on top of any books or anything. And his wrists are coming up like this in a very unhealthy way, which is gonna be awful for him if he keeps going forward learning piano like this. Yeah, it's kind of bad. I feel like even for a kid, right, when you start off, you have to learn somewhat to put your hands up like this to have like the evenness across the forearm, right, to make sure that you're like situated properly. But he's like kind of sitting like this. So if he's actually learned off of using Simply Piano, this indicates to me that Simply Piano does not teach good posture. Yeah, as a kid, you're gonna have to compensate a lot because you're smaller, your hands are smaller in order to play notes, right? Which is why you see like a dropping of the wrist and like all these interesting things, and why people like Taubman and Abby Whiteside put so much work into like Abby Whiteside's like paper mastering Chopin essays, right? Talks about like using the upper arm, and Taubman as well. A lot of her research was inspired by the fact that child prodigies are a thing, and they can play piano despite not having the physicality of a full-grown adult. But like, this is a little bit excessive. This is a little bit excessive. There's no motion that's initiated from the fingers, and it's kind of like, what is going on? Like, I feel, like, how long was this? When do you get the spurk? Week 4? So like a month into learning the piano, and nobody's like fixed these sorts of things, and he's just gonna keep doing this. That's a recipe for future disaster that someone's gonna have to come along to tell him to stop doing, or else he he might plateau and not smile like that when he runs up against Animense's Unravel. I guess as for how fast he's progressing, huh? I mean, it took him 6 weeks to learn how to play. And I don't think that's undue. For a kid to have this sort of motivation, I think that it takes a little bit of like obsessiveness to be able to learn to do something like this. I mean, when I was 5 years old or 6 years old, I was definitely like playing better than this because I've been learning for a year or two, but that's also because I had a mother who was willing to sit me down and really make me practice the piano for like hours every weekend and at least like an hour or two every day. So I don't know. This progress feels a bit swift for unless the kid is that motivated, which is not unheard of, right? This is how prodigies are born. But yeah, how can you play just after 6 weeks? Day 1. The finger independent. Okay, so it's like depending on who you are, maybe like moving the fingers independently is a thing. It makes sense to you, but I would think that a child would move his wrist more like that. Oh, but the flatness of the fingers just makes me want to throw up. Oh my gosh. He practices every morning before kindergarten. That's dedication. I know as a kid I couldn't get up like that to practice to save my life. Week 3. Hey, at least it seems like he's reading notes, and I don't think it's undue to learn how to read notes this quickly. Unless you're just learning patterns, right, on his staff. So it's like, yeah. But his rhythm is a bit too solid, I think. Unless this is a naturally gifted child. So I'm gonna, before we move on to his next one, I'm not gonna say that that first ad is BS, but it's definitely, the kid's learning a bit fast. The kid's learning a bit fast. And learning a lot of really bad compensating technique to learn that quickly. So yeah, it's time for a sip. It's time for a sip. All right, next. Anniversary Man. I remember this ad. Let's see what he's got for us.
Anniversary is coming up. I've got this app, Simply Piano, and I've got this keyboard. I'm going to learn.
He's going to learn the first song that they played at his wedding.
I do not know how to play piano.
Full disclosure. Posture. Oh, no way. No way. No freaking way.
Okay.
Okay.
It's showtime.
It's showtime.
Okay. She'll be here any second.
This anticipation game is too strong. Strong, if I may.
She's here.
She's here.
What?
Nani? Nani?
When did you learn to play the piano?
I just didn't notice that you bought a piano. Interesting.
I can't help
Okay.
falling in love
This is This is I'm confusion.
I am confusion.
I am major
That
confusion.
is so beautiful.
Happy anniversary.
Aw, sweet.
That is so beautiful.
Oh.
And we know his name is Michael. What is going on? So in a 2-set video or in their Reddit page or whatever, or in their subreddit, somebody said that this is an actual pianist or something like that, and I can't believe it. It looks like for day 1. Oh my gosh. Okay. Take another sip. All right. 20th wedding anniversary, Simply Piano. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, get your keyboard, whatever. I can't say what brand the keyboard is because the freaking thing is covering, but
It's coming up. I've
it's
got
normal.
this app, Simply Piano, and I've got this keyboard.
He's got this
I'm going to
keyboard.
learn the first song that played at our wedding. Full disclosure, I do not know how to play piano. Here we go.
He does it. Okay, here we go. Day 1. It's believable, but I think for someone who is at this age, who's never played piano before, for him to play with such clarity, right? That's not like bouncing from the wrist or from the arm. again, to each their own. Each person finds certain movements like more natural and more accessible, right, for lack of a better term. It's just that for most people, they have a tendency to bounce the wrist even after playing piano for a while without getting proper instruction, which is why certain notes or certain phrasings become very difficult to accomplish or to pull off, unless you are learning certain methodologies, right, that incorporate that sort of movement. But here, very interestingly, the finger independence is already kind of there. Right, and I don't know at what point they teach Ode to Joy, so I'm gonna assume that it's like a few lessons in, right? Even for being a few lessons in, this is some swift improvement and progress. And considering how the kid before, if we took him to just be learning off of simply piano, after weeks still had like flat fingers and crappy posture, I don't see why they want to change that for this guy. What, is he on a different program? Like, did they update the app? Is something better? And apparently by day 5, okay, this is just like with this sort of finger movement and with that sort of tempo control at day 5, even I can believe it if it's someone who's like really good, who's like musically inclined, has played an instrument before, right? Maybe it's just like adapting their musicality to like the piano now. But like for somebody who's, I've never played piano before in such a way that's like, I don't play music either. This seems like the implication. This seems a bit undue. This seems very, very swift. And again, right, his posture is looking a little bit better than it should be given what we know about simply piano so far and their teaching. And 2 weeks later, it's like he was like, wait, hold on, I gotta make this more believable. So I'm gonna slam like the first note, and then everything else is gonna be fine, except for that one, right? And especially given the progress for a few weeks before, yeah, very skeptical. Apparently, simply piano teaches you very, very quickly. Okay.
It's showtime.
You go, my man.
Okay. She'll be here any second.
It is like, I appreciate the realism that they don't give him a pedal. So it's like, oh, I bought the boxed keyboard and I forgot to get a pedal. Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, maybe that does indicate slightly more amateurism. But yeah, this is a perfectly set up shot. There's like no cuts or anything. It's like he heard her pull into the driveway and suddenly became a camera master and set up the camera next to his piano in such a way that it captured all the sound perfectly. And it takes me like half an hour to set all my stuff up as it were. So, I don't know. Not to discredit this man, but he's probably a sound technician or a videographer of some sorts if he's able to do this one as well. That or this was scripted. I don't know. You take your pick. Okay. I'm here just reacting. I'm giving you my thoughts. You can believe what you want. You get to choose what you think. So tell me in the comments below. Is this man an expert videographer or is this scripted? I don't know. You tell me.
Here.
What?
That what? How many weeks was this? Like 3-4 weeks?
Learn to play the piano.
Okay, interesting. I don't know what he's looking on, what's on the screen, but it doesn't look like it's moving like with the kids, so it looks like he might be playing by memory. Also, we can hear the melody pretty nicely, which is interesting, right? For somebody to voice decently fine at like 4 weeks of learning like this. And he's able to take his hands off the keyboard and recover. Because for a lot of people, taking your hand off the keyboard mid-play, right? And doing this throws you, and you need to take a few seconds to recalibrate, right? And to get back onto whatever you're doing. But he immediately recovers, which is interesting because beginners don't do that. And this is what gets me the worst, I guess, about this situation. It's like, even when I was just, I remember growing up, right, like 4 or 5 years into playing, and I'm just like playing chords, it's hard to think of words to sing along with whatever you're playing. Even if you're just playing like basic block chords, or even if you're just playing along with the melody. And this man is able to sing and play. Think of words, and apparently read this sheet music, which is new to him, or maybe not even read sheet music at all because it looks like he's playing from memory because nothing's scrolling on the screen. And He's just able to do it, right? And there's like some expression to it too. Interesting. The slight vibrato. So maybe he was a vocalist. Maybe he's a vocalist, and that's why he's such a musical pro. And he throws in the arpeggios at the end. Simply Piano teaches you that too? Maybe. I don't know. I haven't looked at the Simply Piano curriculum, so who am I to say? But this progress is really fast, and his performance, his playing, his posture, his technique is way more solid than what it should be for someone who's only been playing for like a month. And his confidence in playing as well is also way more solid than it should be for someone who's been only playing for a month. Unless, of course, it's someone who doesn't care about what other things about them. It's someone who's very well versed in another instrument or several other instruments. It's someone who's been around music for a long time, but the impression that they were trying to give is that this is a guy who's never touched an instrument before, and he's a pro at everything music. 20th wedding anniversary. Dang, that's like, so if he got married, what, like in his early 20s to early 30s, he'd be in his 40s to 50s. I just don't see my dad learning piano that quickly. So yeah, I'm gonna call BS on this one. I'm gonna call hard BS on this one. Failure. Alright, so that about does it for this video. I guess closing remarks, right, to part one. The advertisements, some of them interesting, right? Some of them are complete BS in the sense that there's nobody who can attain that sort of mastery in a short period of time like that. It's like misleading, to say the least. I would hope that there's a way to advertise a product like this that portrays your service in a good light, but also sets somewhat realistic expectations. Nobody's sitting down to practice 8 hours a day when they're 5 years old to get that good like that kid, or like when you're 50 and you're practicing 8 hours a day. Like that just doesn't happen. So again, some of the progress is like feasible, and some of it is like BS, and that's what makes it cringe, and that's what makes it funny for us to view. But anyways, this was part one. So if you want to see part two come sooner, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Especially if you enjoyed this video, you should comment twice. Help your boy out with the algorithm. If you'd like to support this channel, you can do so via Patreon or buy me a coffee, or via getting WattKeys merch. Links for all those are in the description below. Of course, if you'd like to see me analyze actual playing, you can click right here. If you would like to hear me play, you can click right here. Be sure to catch my streams on Saturdays where I do a line analysis live to help you guys out with your playing. And until next time, everybody, more Simply Piano, Simply Piano. Peace.